Hello, my friend. Imagine a world where the true value of a person isn't measured by the size of their mansion or the horsepower of their sports car, but by the strength of their character, not the size of their bank account. Sounds wild, right? In a land of fame and fortune, some Hollywood stars are swapping red carpets for grocery store aisles and designer threads for thrift shop finds. Get ready to laugh as we dive into the surprisingly modest and sometimes hilariously quirky lives of the rich and famous, who live like they're broke. If you are impressed with any character, please comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to receive the latest videos. Yes, we all have those wild fantasies of how we'd live if we were ridiculously wealthy, right? Well, Keanu Reeves is the perfect example of how to do it totally differently. This Canadian legend, known for roles in The Matrix and John Wick, has a net worth of $380 million as of 2024, thanks to his stellar career. From Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure to Speed and Point Break. Keanu's rise to the top was nothing short of meteoric, but it was trilogy that really shot him into the stratosphere, with earnings from those films topping $200 million. But here's the plot twist. Despite all that cash, Keanu doesn't really care to show it off. Keanu's journey hasn't exactly been a fairy tale. His father left when he was just a toddler, and he was raised by his mother, constantly moving for work. He's no stranger to hardship, having lost close friends, including River Phoenix, and suffering personal tragedies, including the heartbreaking death of his partner, Jennifer Syme. These experiences molded him into the humble, down-to-earth guy we all know and love. He's experienced enough loss to truly appreciate the people in his life, which is why he's not interested in living like a Hollywood kingpin. So what does this humble millionaire do with all his fortune? Well, for starters, he lives in a cozy Los Angeles apartment instead of a sprawling mansion. Think of it as the opposite of keeping up with the Kardashians. In fact, rumors suggest he even has a few houseplants hanging out with him, maybe for deep conversations about the meaning of life. When it comes to cars, Keanu is not out there flexing with a flashy Ferrari. Nope, he drives a Honda Accord. Yes, you heard that right, because it's reliable, practical, and just doesn't scream, "I'm rich, but I don't care." Now, Keanu's love for motorcycles is a different story. He co-founded Arch Motorcycle, a company making custom bikes that reflect his need for speed and adventure. But even then, he keeps it grounded. As if that wasn't enough, Keanu's kindness and humility make him a true legend. One story has him waiting outside in the rain, unnoticed by fans and paparazzi, for a party in 2014. He didn't act like a superstar. He didn't pull the "Do you know who I am" card. Nope. He just stood there waiting for his friends, like any regular guy would. The club owner didn't even recognize him. Just another dude waiting in the rain. How's that for modesty? But the best part? Keanu is known for giving back without making a big deal out of it. He's donated millions to children's hospitals, cancer research, and more, often without seeking recognition. He even gifted a chunk of his Matrix earnings to the crew to make sure they got paid fairly. Talk about being a real-life hero. When asked about his wealth, he once said, "Money is the last thing I think about." In an industry driven by materialism, this attitude is a breath of fresh air. For Keanu, the joy of acting and working with great artists is worth far more than any paycheck. So, while we're all daydreaming about what we'd do if we had $380 million, Keanu Reeves is out there showing us that it's not the amount of zeros in your bank account that counts. It's the size of your heart. Imagine being one of the highest-paid actresses in Hollywood, snagging an Oscar at 22, and having a net worth of $160 million. You'd think Jennifer Lawrence would be living the life, rolling in diamonds, maybe installing gold-plated toilets, and adopting a pet tiger. But nope, she's not about that life. Instead, Jennifer chose a very different route. She stuck with her modest two-bedroom apartment even after hitting it big. And when she finally upgraded, it was to a house in Beverly Hills that was modest by Hollywood standards. Sure, it used to be owned by Jessica Simpson, but don't let that fool you. It's more charming than ostentatious. And if you think her post-Oscar splurge would involve a designer wardrobe or a yacht, think again. Jennifer treated herself to a $25,000 couch. Okay, that's still a chunk of change, but in Hollywood, that's basically discount shopping. She even joked about it, calling it the most luxurious thing she's ever bought, and saying that just looking at it makes her feel like she's living the high life. When it comes to cars, Jennifer's not cruising around in a Ferrari or Lamborghini. Nope, she's keeping it real with a Volkswagen EOS convertible. Later, she upgraded to a Chevrolet Volt, a hybrid that says, "I care about the environment and don't need to overcompensate." And speaking of being real, Jennifer's approach to fashion is refreshingly low-key. She's been known to recycle outfits, a true scandal in Hollywood. She once wore the same dress to different events. The horror. She's joked in interviews that she doesn't care about fashion, and when she's not working, she's happiest in sweatpants, chilling with her dog. Oh, and remember when she fell at the Oscars? Twice. Once while accepting her award, and again on the red carpet the following year. Instead of getting embarrassed, she laughed it off, making her even more lovable. And yes, even with millions in the bank, Jennifer isn't too good for IKEA. That's right. The Oscar-winning actress has been spotted at everyone's favorite Swedish furniture store, assembling her own furniture. We can only imagine her cursing at an Allen wrench while building a Billy bookcase. But beyond her relatable quirks, Jennifer's heart is where it truly shines. She's committed to charity, having founded the Jennifer Lawrence Foundation, which supports causes like the Boys and Girls Clubs of America and the Special Olympics. She's also an advocate for gender equality in Hollywood, speaking out about pay disparities. In a town where celebrities often become famous for their extravagant lifestyles, Jennifer Lawrence stands out for her grounded nature. She's joked about being terrible with money, but honestly, that's because she's not out there blowing it on things she doesn't need. She's more interested in enjoying a simple, genuine life, whether that's eating pizza in her pajamas or hanging with her family in her hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. So while other stars are out there buying private islands or gold-plating their iPhones, Jennifer Lawrence is living like a regular person. Well, a regular person who just happens to have an Oscar and a few million in the bank. And that's what makes her so relatable. She's the superstar who's just as happy on her couch as she is on the red carpet. Now that's revolutionary. A man who survived a sinking ship, Titanic, battled a bear, the Revenant, and even danced with wolves, the Wolf of Wall Street, yet still manages to live in a way that's surprisingly down to earth. With an estimated net worth of $300 million, you'd think he'd be living in a mansion made entirely of gold. But nope, DiCaprio prefers to keep it low-key. Sure, he owns a stunning home in the exclusive Oriole Way compound in Los Angeles, but it's not exactly the kind of sprawling estate you'd expect. It's more like a, let's keep it classy but not showy vibe. After all, who needs a 20-car garage when you've got a few eco-friendly cars and, wait for it, a private island in Belize? Yes, you read that right. He owns an island which is slightly more extravagant than your typical humble abode. But hey, it's for environmental conservation, so you could say his island is green in more ways than one. Speaking of green, DiCaprio is one of Hollywood's most passionate environmental activists. He uses his wealth not to flaunt luxury, but to promote sustainability. He's invested in green technologies and supports climate change initiatives. In a world where some celebrities are more concerned with their latest luxury handbag, Leo's out there saving bears and planting trees, proving you can be rich and still care about Mother Earth. When it comes to cars, DiCaprio's collection includes some of the flashiest brands around, like Lamborghini, Ferrari, and Audi. But unlike your typical celebrity car enthusiast, you won't catch him revving the engine in a flashy parade. Nope. He's probably cruising around town in something eco-friendly like a Tesla, because why not save the planet on your way to brunch? His real estate game is equally impressive. While he owns multiple properties worth millions, he's also known for selling homes at a profit. For example, he sold his Malibu house for $1 million more than he bought it for. Forget boardwalk monopoly. DiCaprio is playing Monopoly with eco-friendly properties. DiCaprio's philanthropic efforts are nothing short of legendary. He's donated millions to causes like wildlife conservation and climate change, raising over $80 million for charity. You might say he's the Robin Hood of Hollywood, except instead of stealing from the rich, he's giving to the planet. So while he might not be living in a gold-plated mansion or cruising around in the latest sports car, Leonardo DiCaprio is living a life that's richer in purpose, impact, and authenticity. And in Hollywood, that's worth more than all the Oscars in the world. Talk about the brooding heartthrob who skyrocketed to fame as the sparkly vampire Edward Cullen in Twilight. You'd think a guy with that kind of fame would be living in a gold-plated mansion with rooms dedicated to his hair products alone, right? But instead, Robert has taken the path of the refreshingly relatable and sometimes downright quirky celebrity. When Twilight hit theaters, Robert Pattinson became an overnight sensation, sending legions of fans, mostly teenage girls and their bemused parents, into a frenzy. With all that fame and fortune, you'd expect Pattinson to live like a vampire king, complete with a castle and a fleet of black sports cars. But nope, true to form, Robert opted for something much more, well, Robert. Robert Pattinson's net worth is estimated at a cool $100 million as of 2024. The bulk of his fortune came from Twilight, where his base salary for the later movies was around $25 million, plus a generous cut of back-end revenue, bringing his total to about $40 million per film. In 2011, he was 15th on Vanity Fair's Hollywood Top 40, earning $27.5 million in 2010. He even earned a reported $3 million for his role in The Batman. But despite all that cash, Robert never let it go to his head. The most endearing thing about Robert Pattinson? He's never taken himself too seriously. After Twilight, instead of jumping into a string of blockbuster movies, he opted for smaller indie films that were about as far from mainstream as you could get. His living situation? Well, it's far from the mansions of Beverly Hills. At one point, Pattinson was famously living in a tiny rented house in Hollywood that could only be described as a converted junkyard. The house was affectionately dubbed a quasi-garbage dump, complete with a hot tub that didn't work, a pool that looked more like a pond, and a vibe that screamed. He's openly talked about how he loved the place because it was hidden away and allowed him to escape the spotlight. something that's remained a constant theme in his life. When he eventually bought a Spanish-style mini mansion in Hollywood, it was a relatively modest $6.3 million. For a guy who's graced the covers of countless fashion magazines, Robert's personal style is, well, surprising. Beanies, old t-shirts, and unbuttoned plaid shirts are his go-to looks, and he's been known to wear the same clothes repeatedly, sometimes for days on end. While other celebrities have stylists on speed dial, Robert seems content to roll out of bed, throw on whatever's closest, and somehow still look effortlessly cool. And if you think Robert Pattinson's version of modest is charming, just wait until you hear about a Hollywood icon who's so down-to-earth that even his coffee has fewer beans than you'd expect. If you thought Hollywood stars had to choose between fame and humility, Ryan Reynolds is here to prove you wrong. This A-lister somehow balances a blockbuster career with a lifestyle so modest, you might catch him driving the kids to school in a minivan instead of a Maserati. But first, let's talk numbers. Ryan's net worth is a cool $350 million. Thanks to hits like Deadpool and Free Guy, along with some savvy investments, including co-owning Aviation Gin, which he sold for a staggering $610 million in 2020. You'd think that kind of money would have him living like Bruce Wayne, but instead, Reynolds is more like the guy next door, if the guy next door happened to be really, really funny and insanely good-looking. Despite his substantial bank account, Reynolds has a surprisingly modest approach to life. He's not the kind of guy to drop cash on flashy cars or private islands. In fact, he's been spotted driving around in a family-friendly SUV, which is about as un-Hollywood as you can get. He's joked in interviews about how he doesn't really know how to spend his money, and honestly, we believe him. While other celebrities are busy buying $100,000 watches, Reynolds seems content making sure his 3 daughters have a lifetime supply of dad jokes. Ryan and his wife, Blake Lively, could easily live in a mansion so large that it would require its own postal code. Instead, they opted for a cozy, charming 3-bedroom home in Bedford, New York, for $2.3 million. Sure, it's a nice place, but it's more of a family farmhouse than a celebrity compound. They eventually moved to a more spacious $5.7 million house, still in Bedford, where they've created a life that's all about family, privacy, and avoiding the Hollywood hype. Reynolds' modesty isn't just about his lifestyle, it's a reflection of his personality. He's the kind of guy who enjoys the simple pleasures in life, like trolling his wife on Instagram with hilarious birthday posts or sharing awkward throwback photos. When he's not busy being a movie star, he's making deadpan commercials for his company, Mint Mobile, where he often pokes fun at his own fame and wealth. In one ad, he joked about how they were able to keep costs low by only spending $35 on the commercial. Even though Reynolds is all about keeping it low-key, he's also incredibly generous. He and Blake Lively have donated millions to various causes, including food banks, COVID-19 relief efforts, and supporting Indigenous communities in Canada. He's not interested in making a big show of his philanthropy. He just wants to help out where he can. And of course, he manages to do it all with his trademark wit and charm. So, while Ryan Reynolds might play superheroes and charming rogues on screen, in real life, he's just a down-to-earth guy who'd rather crack a joke than crack open his wallet. But just when you thought Hollywood couldn't get any more grounded, There's a certain iconic star who has mastered the art of modesty so well, she makes thrift store chic look like high fashion. If you want to explore the journey with me, please leave number 1 and watch this video until the end. Interesting things are waiting for you in the video. Best known for her iconic role as Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, Sarah Jessica Parker could have easily gone down the over-the-top glamour route given her fame and success. But surprisingly, she's the Hollywood star who makes modesty look as effortless as her on-screen character made Manhattan chic. You might think that a fashion icon like Sarah Jessica Parker would have a wardrobe worth more than some small countries, but she's surprisingly grounded in her fashion choices. While Carrie Bradshaw made high heels and designer labels famous, Parker is known for her down-to-earth approach. She's often spotted in everything from vintage finds to off-the-rack outfits, mixing high and low fashion with a style that screams, "I'm fabulous, but I'm also practical." In interviews, Parker humorously reflects on her childhood, saying, "I think my mother is sorry that there were things she couldn't give us, but I work hard to be as depriving to my children as my mother was." Instead of lavishing gifts, she emphasizes the importance of experiences, saying, "I'd rather take my kids to the park than buy them a yacht. Who needs a yacht when you have a swing set?" This approach highlights the value of yearning and earning over instant gratification. Even with a net worth exceeding $100 million, Parker and her husband, Matthew Broderick, live in a modest home in New York City's West Village. She once joked about her wardrobe, saying, "I have a lot of shoes, but I also have a lot of children, so it balances out." One of the most surprising aspects of Parker's modesty is her love for thrift shopping. Yes, the woman who could afford any designer piece she wants is frequently seen hunting for treasures at thrift stores. She's confessed to enjoying the hunt for unique items, and is known for mixing thrift store finds with high-end pieces in her wardrobe. If you've ever wondered what Carrie Bradshaw would look like in a second-hand dress, just take a peek at Parker's real-life wardrobe. In addition to her acting career, Parker has ventured into business with her own line of shoes and clothing. Despite the success of her brand, she's known for her modesty in business dealings. Her approach to entrepreneurial ventures is all about practical elegance rather than flashy marketing. Her brand, the SJP collection, reflects her personal style without the pomp and circumstance you might expect from someone of her profile. Ultimately, Sarah Jessica Parker proves that you can be a Hollywood star without the need for a mansion or a fleet of luxury cars. As she puts it, "I think it's good to pine for something so that when you get it, it has such meaning. You aren't casual about possession." In her world, laughter and love are the true luxuries. He may be at the pinnacle of his career, but the 38-year-old from Iowa learned the hard way that life's lemons aren't handed out for free. The Butterfly Effect actor's life story reads like one of the many dramas he starred in, from teenage missteps to jail time and empty wallets. But the guy who made Dude, Where's My Car? A thing has more money than most of us can even imagine. Instead of living the high life with a private island and a fleet of butlers fanning him with palm leaves, Kutcher has chosen a surprisingly modest lifestyle. Kutcher's net worth is estimated at around $330 million as of 2024, with an annual income of approximately $4 million. He reportedly earns a staggering $1 million per episode for his TV roles. But despite the massive earnings, he's proven time and again that money doesn't buy happiness. In an interview with Esquire, Kutcher reflected on his early days in New York City, where he once mistook Prince's VIP area for a public space and tried to chat with the music icon. The humorous anecdote highlights Kutcher's down-to-earth nature, even when faced with fame. Kutcher's smart investments in companies like Airbnb, Uber, and Spotify have also contributed significantly to his wealth. However, he has not let his success change his core values. In an interview with Your Story, he shared his mantra: "Don't settle for what life gives you. Make life better and build something." Despite his massive wealth, Kutcher hasn't let it define him. He's still happily cruising around in the same car he's had for years, even while owning a collection of luxury cars, including a $1.4 million Ferrari. Kutcher also owns a $15 million mansion in Beverly Hills and several other properties across the United States. But it's clear that material wealth is not what defines him. In 2019, Kutcher faced a life-changing moment when he was diagnosed with vasculitis, a condition that temporarily robbed him of his ability to see, hear, and walk. This harrowing medical episode made him realize how fragile life can be and changed his perspective on happiness. He learned that true fulfillment doesn't come from possessions. This experience has made Kutcher more selective about the roles he chooses and the stories he wants to tell. His commitment to a modest lifestyle isn't just personal, it's a reflection of his values. By staying grounded and true to himself, Kutcher has proven that wealth and fame do not have to come at the expense of one's character. Hilary Swank is a Hollywood powerhouse who's defied the odds to achieve monumental success, yet her life remains surprisingly grounded. With 2 Academy Awards under her belt, one for Boys Don't Cry and another for $1 Million Baby, Swank's net worth is a respectable $40 million. But despite her glittering accolades and fame, she's chosen a lifestyle far from the glitz and glamour most would expect from someone of her stature. Swank's journey to the top wasn't easy. She grew up in a trailer in Nebraska, a far cry from the Hollywood Hills. After moving to Los Angeles with her mother to pursue acting, she famously lived in her car for a while, a testament to her unwavering dedication. Imagine the self-talk she must have had in that car as she dreamed of making it big. Today, you might expect Swank to be hosting lavish parties or sporting diamond-encrusted accessories, but she's far from the typical Hollywood elite. Instead, she embraces a low-key lifestyle, enjoying simple pleasures like hiking, cooking, and even shopping at local grocery stores. You'd be just as likely to see her at the farmer's market as you would on the red carpet. When it comes to her acting, Swank is known for her intense dedication. For $1 Million Baby, she transformed her body to play a boxer, gaining 19 lbs of muscle and training like a warrior, reportedly consuming 200 hours of protein a day. Talk about a lot of chicken breasts. Her commitment to her craft is nothing short of legendary. Despite her success, Swank remains deeply connected to her humble roots. In interviews, she often reflects on her journey, humorously acknowledging the absurdity of fame, saying, "I'm just a girl from Nebraska who got lucky." Her humility, charm, and authenticity are part of what makes her not only a celebrated actress, but someone you'd love to have a cup of coffee with. To hear about her life lessons, and maybe swap a few protein shake recipes. Swank proves that you don't need a mansion or flashy possessions to be a true Hollywood star. With her grounded perspective, she reminds us all that success is about more than just fame and fortune. It's about staying true to who you are, no matter how high you climb. Tom Hanks is one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, known for his incredible range and down-to-earth nature. With 2 Academy Awards under his belt and an unmatched legacy in films like Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan, and Castaway, Hanks's net worth is an impressive $400 million. Yet despite his incredible success, he's chosen a life that's shockingly modest for someone of his stature. Hanks's rise to fame wasn't a walk in the park. Growing up in modest surroundings, he never expected to be living in a Hollywood mansion one day. Hanks has often shared stories about his humble beginnings, including living in a small apartment in New York and struggling to make ends meet when he was starting out. He's the guy who knows what it's like to hustle, and that's part of what makes him so relatable. Today, you'd expect Hanks to be living in the kind of mansion that would make a king blush. But instead, he's known for his modest lifestyle. Hanks lives in a cozy home in Pacific Palisades, far from the spotlight and far from the flashy homes of his peers. His idea of luxury? A quiet, family-centered life away from the paparazzi, not an endless parade of red carpets and expensive cars. While other stars are busy showing off their multi-million-dollar car collections, Hanks is likely out driving his old, reliable vehicle. After all, it's not about the car you drive, it's about the people you have in your life. And Hanks has proven time and again that he's about the little things, like spending time with his family and keeping his feet firmly planted on the ground. Hanks's humility goes beyond his lifestyle. It's a reflection of who he is as a person. Despite all the accolades, he's never taken himself too seriously. He's the guy who makes us laugh with his funny interviews, keeps us engaged with his movies, and yet somehow manages to avoid all the Hollywood hype. When it comes to his philanthropic work, Hanks is incredibly generous but doesn't feel the need to broadcast it. He's a man of action, not of show. Tom Hanks reminds us that you don't have to live like a superstar to be a true star. In a world obsessed with fame and fortune, he proves that the real magic comes from living a life that's full of love, laughter, and a whole lot of heart. And while other actors might collect mansions and private jets, Hanks is content with something far more precious, his grounded, authentic self. Dave Chappelle isn't just a comedic genius. He's a man who made some of the boldest decisions in Hollywood. At the height of his career, Chappelle was offered a mind-blowing $50 million to continue Chappelle's show, but he stunned everyone by walking away. While the world thought he was crazy for turning down that kind of money, for Chappelle, it was about something far more valuable, his peace of mind and mental health. Fame was never his end goal. His personal well-being always came first. After stepping away from the spotlight, Chappelle moved to a small, quiet town in Ohio, far from the bustling Hollywood scene. Here, he lives a modest life with his family, avoiding the usual celebrity trappings. No giant mansions or luxury cars for him, even though he could afford them. Instead, Chappelle chose a life that's grounded in substance, not extravagance. He's known by his neighbors as just another friendly face, someone who values privacy and a slower pace of life. Chappelle's decision to leave Hollywood behind wasn't just about escaping the chaos. It was about reclaiming his life on his own terms. His comedy reflects this authenticity, which is why so many fans admire him. Living in Ohio, Chappelle has found the peace he was searching for, and his choice to prioritize happiness over fame only makes him more of a legend in the eyes of those who respect his journey. Despite their immense wealth, these Hollywood stars choose an unbelievably simple lifestyle. They don't chase after luxury cars, lavish mansions, or expensive designer goods like many other wealthy individuals. For them, money doesn't define the value of life. This way of living may stem from frugality, personal beliefs, or simply a desire to avoid the flashy side of Hollywood. Some enjoy a modest life for peace of mind, while others seek to escape the wasteful spending habits common among the ultra-rich. Whatever the reason, these stars prove that being rich doesn't mean living extravagantly. They challenge conventional ideas of success and show that happiness isn't just about material wealth, it's about how they choose to live their lives. Which artist are you most impressed with? Please leave a comment to let us know, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to receive notifications about our upcoming videos.